All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to what is game number 2 now here of this Best of 2 series. Team Freedom going up against Digital Chaos here. Looking forward to continuing on having some fun here. Hopefully you guys are having a good night yourself here, watching some good Dota 2 action. DC up 1-0 here so far in these American Region Qualifier match. Again, it's very important because, as we keep going back to, if DC loses one of these games, that would actually knock them out and give Team NP the first seed and going to the main event. So DC just simply trying to keep hope alive, and it was difficult there in game number 1. Team Freedom definitely had a lot of hope in the early game, even as it adjusted into the late game, but resolution on that lone druid eventually pulled through with the team support around him, and they were able to take it as a result. So a little over an hour long there. So welcome back again. I'm Breaky CBK, and actually going to have a new co-caster here for game number 2. I'm going to be joined by Tsunami. Tsunami, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, though I didn't even realize this halfway through the series. You casted a 1-hour TF versus DC game just now?
A little over an hour. It was almost 70 minutes right there that took place. Yeah, it was
and what hero was responsible for that?
Lone Druid on the side of DC. Yeah, he kind of grinded it. I mean, Team Freedom actually was winning in the earlier game for a good chunk of it, but couldn't pull through. Lone Druid just did his thing, so.
Hence the first ban, I take it.
Yeah, a little bit of a reaction there, is fair to say, as well as the slaughter. Abaddon and Darkseer taken away from DC. Darkseer was picked up the first game by Freedom, actually, and IX Mike did play pretty well. So we already have a little bit of a different draft. Ember into Leshrac for Freedom, though. You can always, I'm always looking forward to seeing what Freedom drafts in the later picks, especially, because they like to do some fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely one of the more exotic picks from the NA teams that we've seen thus far. And I guess the other refreshment I may need on the state of the tournament. So this is one of the last 2 or 3 days of the NA qualifiers.
So, yeah, to clarify, this is the second to last day technically. There's one more day, but tomorrow's match, there's only one match. It's actually Team NP versus Complexity. Now, DC and NP are the only 2 teams that are still eligible for the first seed, which is the one that matters, of course, the chance to go to the main event. If DC loses one game against Freedom here, so even if they finish in a tie, they are out and NP's going. However, if DC wins this, they go 2-0. They need NP to go 0-2 against Complexity, and then they would go.
Oh, okay. So really, Team Freedom is just existing to crush DC's dreams right now. Like, they don't even have any horse in this race other than to throw a wrench in DC's plans.
100% correct. Yeah, that's what a lot of these later matches have been. A lot of spoilers being played.
Okay, well then I wouldn't be surprised if we do see even more cheese than typically from Team Freedom, because, like we said, they do some non-traditional picks, but if there was ever a time, or mainly, I guess, if they really did have like a vendetta against any DC people, because I guess if they preferred NP to go, then you could just take it easy on or if they prefer DC to go, then they could just take it easy this match. But of course, and North America, everyone has history with everyone in this region, so I'm sure you're fighting for the death no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know if that would really come up necessarily, although, yeah, it is possible. That is a fair point, but again, with the way Team Freedom was playing that first game, they were definitely playing to win, so I'm expecting the same here. Earthshaker third. Okay, so what is Freedom doing here? There we go with a little bit of a unique pickup that we don't see too often. A lot of AoE synergy coming out.
Yeah, a lot of magic synergy, which is surprising against a Juggernaut that was picked so early on by DC, and it's not like a rare Juggernaut. Resolution is well familiar with the hero, but a magic damage Ember, it's going to get kind of disrupted by Blade Fury. Leshrac, Earthshaker also have issues with that. But then again, Blade Fury, it's a long cooldown spell, and you can really only get out of one of the many stuns that Team Freedom's showing up with. But at least DC are reacting with this Earthshaker immediately with a Clockwork pick, because Earthshaker hates having to deal with Battery Assault.
Yeah. That's definitely not a fun ability to deal with. Now, the cogs are kind of interesting, too. The idea that you got to be a little careful. Whenever I say Clockwork, kind of look at their lineup specifically and who he could be kind of screwing over on his team. Something like the Juggernaut, if he maybe catches him in the cogs, could be a little dangerous. But overall, should be pretty fine. A lot to worry about there. Phantom Lancer coming out from Freedom. All right, so yeah, they're definitely doing different things here.
Okay, I need to check the numbers on this one because I am of the school of thought that PL is actually one of the worst carries in the patch because not only did illusions just they've been getting nerfed across the board and PL hasn't really been the main focus of them. He's just been like along for the ride because it was Terrorblade, it was Luna Shadow Demon, it was that cheese stuff with like Centaur illusions and taking towers that way. And PL has just kind of been like, guys, just like I'm the illusion hero. The rest of you, you're not supposed to be illusion heroes. And so there was some, I guess, mitigation because the main thing that concerns me is the fact that illusions give bounty rune. I mean, like gold and experience. And
Yeah.
Phantom Lancers juxtaposition illusions, they're I guess, a flat amount, but really the hero isn't good enough to warrant any illusions having a bounty whatsoever, in my opinion. And then Diffusal Blade also got nerfed multiple times, and now the last most recent nerf that hurts PL quite a bit is the fact that you can't self-purge, and it'll be a bit of a problem against an Earth Spirit who's going to be silencing this PL, so I'm surprised that TF is going for this.
Yeah, it's not your typical Corrin. In fact, I was kind of making sure, with this region, with this tournament specifically, it's only been picked up once. And it actually was Complexity against Team Freedom that used it. And Complexity actually did win with it. I believe I catched that game, if I'm not mistaken, and they looked really good doing it. Moo was the one playing it, of course, and, played it very well, and it just became ridiculously difficult to handle. Now, when it comes to the late game, even despite nerfs and everything that have happened, the illusions and Phantom Lance are still a very, very difficult late game core to deal with for sure. But yeah, you got to get him there. So we'll see if they can manage to do that. But yeah, not your go-to core as you would expect. What about their final pick here? What are we gonna see? An off lane? They'd probably want or
Yeah, given how don't really see Earthshaker taking that offlane position as frequently as he used to. So a Tidehunter is definitely a much more stable offlane pick, but still more rare than any of the other traditional offlane picks we've been seeing.
Yeah.
And this one PL game that you did mention, yeah, I can see that Moo did play it to great success. But the main thing that helped out is the fact that Team Freedom, who the PL was against, didn't really have the best wave clear. So Team Freedom had a Doom, a Jug, a Lich, and a Baden, and a Shadow Fiend. And none of those heroes really excel at being able to anti-push. This game, though, DC has Clockwork Flare. They've got Keeper of the Light Illuminate. But really, they've got Keeper of the Light Illuminate. Clockwork Flare is just like an added bonus. But Keeper is a great combo with PL, but also a great counter to PL.
Yeah. That's fair, yeah. The Illuminate's probably one of the better tools. I mean, I will say, raises from Shadow Fiend, Lich Nuke, like, there was okay counter push in that game. But,
True.
yeah, Coddle Illuminate kind of just pushes it over the edge as far as good luck getting your illusions, sending them into the base. But, yeah, we'll see how he manages against that. Tidehunter, the Ravage, going to be coming out. That's, as you pointed out, though, this is not a typical offlane at all. I mean, IX Mike, he's known for playing some unique stuff. Abaddon, most noticeably, in fact, banned initially. We've been seeing that a bit against Team Freedom here for good reason. But, yeah, Tidehunter has, in fact, I don't know if he's seen any action yet. Let me double-check on that real quickly. But, let's see, Tidehunter. Yeah, he has not been played yet in the American region. So, I'm kind of curious about it because I feel like the hero actually is decent. He's a beefy hero, one of the better ultimate initiation tools in the game. Does it surprise you that maybe we haven't seen him yet, or is there an obvious reason?
I think one of the main concerns is he's very cooldown dependent, and a lot of the cooldown dependent team fight heroes that used to be in vogue have kind of fallen off. Like Enigma, we don't really see that much anymore, which is another somewhat offlaner hybrid like Tidehunter is. And then I guess for mids, like we don't see Death Prophet anymore. All these heroes that are very dependent on being able to fight on their terms and then being able to disengage for the next 2 minutes have kind of fallen off. And I can see why, because this patch really encourages early aggression and then not really too much downtime in between that aggression.
Yeah.
But Axe, I can see, is a clear addition to DC's strategy of high aggression with this Clockwork, and they have a lot of jump, which makes me fear for this PL.
Yep, that's definitely a very good, solid last pick as you're getting at right there. Great initiation against somebody like a Phantom Lancer for locking him down and then killing him before the ultimate especially takes place and getting a little radical in fight. So, anyways, I see more and more people tuning in. It looks like the European region might have just wrapped up there for today. So, welcome over to the American region. Murica here. We got our match, DC versus Team Freedom. This is game number 2 here of this 2-game series. DC won the first game, although it took about 65 minutes or so. It was not an easy victory, but eventually behind the Lone Druid being played by Resolution, they won the first game. That's kind of the quick recap there for you. So this is game number 2. Again, if DC loses one game against Freedom, so if they lose this game, it will be Team NP going out of the American region. However, if DC goes 2-0, they'll be watching tomorrow as NP faces off against Complexity, and they will be Complexity fanboys for at least tomorrow. So I'm Breaking CBK. I'm joined by Tsunami here, so there you go. That's kind of a quick recap as far as what's going on with the more people tuning in. So we're starting off with game number 2, and again, as you would expect, a pretty unique draft from Freedom, as they tend to do with that Phantom Lancer leading the way. It is a support Leshrac, right? Yeah, Eagle going to be playing the Leshrac here, so no question there. And then
support Leshrac has been being shown quite a bit of love recently, because whenever I first saw Leshrac getting picked, I was just like, I don't really know how much talent's helped out this hero that much in terms of being a core position, but it seems that being able to put him in whenever he was last picked as a meta support, it was really big to get lightning on him. And then whenever he was a mid, it was also really big to get lightning. And now we're back to vintage Leshrac where you go Edict and Split Earth. And so it's almost Invoker style how many different variations there are to play this hero. But, we've seen him as a core, we've seen him as a support, we've seen him even briefly as an offlane at sometimes, and I've been seeing him work to great success as a support recently.
Well, to kind of give stats on top of what you're suggesting here, because stats never lie, of course, Ember Spirit has actually been played 21 matches here. He's the second most played here in the American region. He's actually 18-3 as far as the record goes with this hero. That's a pretty absurd record, considering he's second most played in this tournament. So Team Freedom, they have that going for them. Obviously, DC had the previous game. They did have Ember Spirit on their team as well. But then Team Freedom, on top of that, Leshrac also, I'm a little surprised at this. He's actually the 6th most played. That's number 6. He's played 15 games, and he's actually 11-4 record. So they got a couple of these, fairly popular heroes that are doing very, very well, and you combo them together. You'd figure Freedom's actually in a pretty good spot. But speaking of Leshrac, he's going to find Misery right here. Is trying to sneak in there quickly, but that ain't going to work. And he'll zone him out here. So good start by Eagle. It's a small thing, but you know what? He prevents him from getting a ward down and getting out of there ASAP.
Yeah, it's a small thing, and despite him being a support, he's actually gone for a Null Talisman right off the bat. Has absolutely no regen right now, so I'm actually I'm assuming that Eagle's not really going to have to worry too much about zoning a Clockwork, which Leshrac is usually pretty good at, so this item build is surprising coming out from Eagle.
Yeah. Sorry, I was responding to a message right there. So, yeah. So you're talking about the Null Talisman?
I'm talking all about Null Talismans, and I'm talking about no regen, because I guess, you can just right-click a Clockwork. Leshrac has reasonable range to bother the melee range of Clockwork, and Cogs is probably going to burn off most of your mana, so sure, why not go right-click?
Yeah. I've also played a little bit of Leshrac myself, because like you said, it's kind of been coming back, especially in the American scene, and being seen as a support quite a bit. His attack animation, it's pretty strong. It's a very quick attack animation. He has great range on top of that. So, yeah, you allow him to really zone out these offlaners, ideally, in this case being the Clockwork here at the top lane. So is it safe to say that he's maybe one of the better zoning supports?
Yeah, especially, he's a strong zoning support because of obviously his range and his spells, but he's very good at being able to transition into, farming some quick jungle camps to catch up, because, there are many supports who are great at zoning, like Witch Doctor and Dazzle, and those are the more traditional supports we see, the more defensive supports. But then after the laning phase is over, they are almost purely defensive after that, whereas a Leshrac, he can start out aggressive like this, especially if they get a nice fissure.
Yeah, there we go, the Split Earth actually, and now Clockwork, he is in trouble. You talked about the fissure block initially happening, so now Moomiander trying to make his way out, gonna go for the TP, the Spirit Lance not enough damage, and he'll survive. Her Spirit also makes his way out of there. So well played, and he'll manage to live. I do apologize, guys, right now. For some reason, I literally was not getting any FPS drop the first game, and now I'm getting a little bit of frames drop, so I'm going to do my best to try to figure out what the hell's going on. Hopefully, I'm not lagging myself, so I might need to reconnect to a different Twitch server, but I'll keep an eye on it and maybe do that if it seems like it's continuing to keep up here. Anyways, no first blood with the top lane, but yeah, clearly a lot of pressure from the beginning here, Tsunami.
Yeah, and BSJ did go for the Mango for the Split Earth, so his Mango got eliminated very early on, but HP regen's not too big of a concern in this lane. He's got a poor man's shield, and he's up against a Clockwork, so he's probably not going to be able to use very many spells to begin with. And Leshrac TP'd back to base to get all of his HP and mana back, and now he's coming back again. Battery Assault on to BSJ.
Yeah, this is probably going to be enough lockdown this time around. It feels like Moo Meander, no TP. He doesn't have enough gold to buy one, actually. He's just simply going to throw up some regen and hope for the best. The Split Earth does miss, though. Another Spirit Lance forward, though. And, yep, they should be, maybe Cogs? Oh, my God, he is actually going to be out of range, and they're not going to be able to catch him. Moo Meander does make the escape in the end. Man, that was absolutely close.
That Tango to eat the tree and move north to dodge that Split Earth was amazing, to dodge that first split attempt, because now it looks like Tomato might be in trouble mid. He's going to pick up this regen rune.
The rune of regeneration.
I'll get that as we chasing him down on that axe. So yeah, seeing the axe middle right here for DC, not your typical mid hero.
Yeah, you say that they're like, oh, it's just we axe mid, no big deal. But yeah, I was not expecting this. I guess whenever I was looking at the draft, I wasn't really thinking, well, what's the we hero here?
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't really have one. And axe 5th pick, I would not have seen that coming.
We got so caught up in Leshrac and talking about stats and everything that it's like, wait a second, where is that axe going to end up? And yeah, he ends up mid. He gets a nice call off right here, but not going to be nearly enough damage. And in fact, nice call turns into a horrible position for him. Fissure starting to block him out, and Wee's just simply going to run now with that battle hunger up. But okay, he's going to pop a salve actually. He'll get some nice life back. So if anything, he's delaying them quite a bit, and looks like he actually may get out of here. Unless he somehow gets stunned. Fissure? Yes. Oh, that's a beautiful block.
Wedged.
That's a beautiful wedge right there. Look at that. The battle hunger can fly again. I mean, but like I said, you know what? He's taking a lot of time, and I still don't think they're going to kill him. Yeah. He's still running.
Honestly, he could even move south and still be fine, although they're going to shrine up, they get mana. Another Fissure, this time, though, not a block.
He's good. That's crazy. I mean, there's not many. Now, Axe doesn't necessarily have like a crazy escape, but he's just a mix of being really beefy. And the battle hunger, you know, applies that movement speed as well. So, able to run on out of there. I guess that's a nice reason to have Axe in the middle lane.
Yeah, had he died, I would have given a big speech about how Axe is great against physical damage, but not against magic damage. And Leshrac, this Ember Spirit, and the Earthshaker are all magic damage, but then again, Axe also has extremely high passive regen, and we had eaten a tree right before all of that broke out. So yeah, maybe he's just the best mid after all.
Nice shrine use right here. We'll get them right back up and ready to go. Making a play in the middle lane. Earth Spirit nearby. Misery coming in with that Invis rune as mentioned. They got an opening ready for Tomato. Will they have enough lockdown? The call, it's out of range, actually. Tomato will be fine, as he's just going to sit on the other side of that Fissure. The Fissure block might have caused issues anyways, but still. Missing that call. A little unfortunate for Wii. We'll shake it off, though. Not necessarily a huge deal. We're going to deny the bottom tower. All right. That's an early tower deny.
That's very early, and I guess what we've been seeing the trend recently is really high aggression coddles. Immediately, Saksa finishes off that bot tower and migrates on the top, has 2 points Illuminate, 2 points in Chakra, and this is going to make life really hard for Phantom Lancer because of this kind of Illuminate spam. BSJ can't really feel safe in the lane anymore, and this poor man's shield isn't going to help other than farming underneath the tower.
Middle lane. Call looks like it hits initially right here, but a nice Fissure block from Juby and puts him on the other side. In fact, actually, Misery caught himself as well. They split them up perfectly. And Tomato ends up getting the first blood as a result. Didn't even notice that Earth Spirit got caught on the wrong side initially. And sure enough, he did. Axe, he's going to be run down. Okay, they're going to kind of wedge him in here again, but this is a dead Axe. He's going to use the call, buff up that armor. And he will be fine. Moo Meander trying to zone them out and maybe get a kill in the background, but that battery assault can only do so much, so fall back. So, but nice trap there. I mean, that's not easy to Fissure like that, man, to split up heroes like that.
No, Jube has been nailing these, and I'm actually just amazed that he's been able to Fissure this much within the first 5 minutes of the game. He's been sucking down clarities on the regular, so I'm not too surprised, but his positioning to always be like in a defensive position to stop ganks and then turn around offensively to get these kills is really part luck, but also really good game sense.
Yeah. Clockwork, level 6, of course. High impact for him. Moon Meander, he's level 5.5 right now. And so a little bit longer before he gets that, and we'll see that hookshot maybe come into play. Oh, BSJ, a little below half-life here. Eagle's going to spot out Misery, though, on that Earth Spirit who was waiting by for that support to come in. The Boulder Smash hits both. And they're going to chase Chakram onto Earth Spirit. Actually, he barrel rolls in, and there's another Remnant coming out to secure the kill. So not maybe the target they really wanted, but hey, they'll take it. It's a kill. And they tie it at 1 apiece now.
Yeah, if it was daytime, that PL would have been on death's door, but they didn't spot him. Unfortunately, Boulder Smash does not give vision, so even though PL got stunned, he's going to be able to walk out. But really, he's walking out, and what does he have to come back to? His lane is in shambles. He has a smoked-up team waiting, but you've got the rest of DC sitting far back.
They're ready to support. Tomato scouting it out. Earth Spirit going to be found, but he gets a nice combo off, and there's that Illuminate. Look at that, too. Moon Meander with the hook shot in, but the Earth Spirit with the Remnants doing plenty of burst damage himself, and Juby will survive, not for long. Illuminate does take him out, but a 1-for-1 exchange at the top lane. So yeah, initially a pretty good response there from DC, but they do pick off the Clockwork, though, for an Earthshaker, so you could argue that's actually better for Freedom.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wee's TP was down. Otherwise, that is a dream fight. It was a perfect silence in the cogs, and Axe is a big fan of close quarters combat like that. But it's okay. He's farming up. He's going to get his blink very soon. Ember Spirit did go up top to get that kill. So in the meanwhile, Axe has just been farming.
Eagle, he's just going to hug the tower for the time being. But yeah, as you're talking about Axe farming middle, BSJ just trying to pick up any kind of farm in the jungle. Looks like, of course, the Helm of the Dominator. No surprise, but going to be seeing that here. Boulder Smash attempt at the top lane, going to miss. But Eagle's kind of kiting around him to Diabolic Edict active. The hook shot will whiff right there, but and this is really a dead Leshrac. It's just a matter of time. He's doing his best to run away, maybe get the turn kill, and he'll get it with the final auto attack. So, hey, you know, he says, you're coming with me, Earth Spirit, and that he does. So, a nice little play there from Leshrac despite dying himself.
Oh man, that was destiny. A right click at the last second through blinding light. That was clearly meant to be.
Yeah. Ulti form from Coddle right here. He does have a recall ready and things like that. We'll see if that maybe comes into play, but Axe actually going to be not comboed. I thought that was coming out, but the Split Earth. That's the thing with Leshrac, that Split Earth channel, it takes forever to cast it, it feels like. I mean, they do have decent setup with the Fissure, of course, but there it just was a little too far away. So we manages to just walk it off. But how about this Juggernaut, by the way? We really haven't talked too much about Resolution. Well, he's 4,300 net worth, top of the game, has a Helm of the Dominator. I think he's looking pretty good here, Tsunami.
Yeah, this is why I'm a really big fan of how DC plays. Much like how we as casters kind of forget about Resolution quietly farming away, the enemy team is under so much pressure from the rest of DC that they're not allowed to pay attention to Resolution. Now he's TP top, probably won't even be needed for this kill on IX Mike, but the tower will come shortly after.
I just love how this little Clockwork hero can run up to a huge Tidehunter and just slowly tap him down with that battery assault and that hammer of his, but he manages to easily secure that kill. Nothing that really Tidehunter could do at that point. And yeah, you talked about this. Resolution porting up here. He's got the Centaur with him, and he's going to easily take out this tower, it feels like. In fact, over here, hookshot lands on a Juby on the Earthshaker. Trying to run through another battery assault, and he goes down. So this early control for DC. We mentioned Clockwork, level 6, get that hookshot. Moon Meander's making the best of it.
And I mentioned how Earthshaker hates having to deal with battery assault, but I saw in that previous fight in mid, Leshrac, or I've been familiar with it, I just haven't seen the matchup in a while, but Leshrac also hates having to deal with battery assault, so this maxed out battery assault from Moon Meander is such a problem for these TF heroes.
So this early momentum for DC looking pretty good. I mean, what do you think Team Freedom is banking on right now? Is there a key item that they're going to need? I mean, how are they looking to play this game, adjusting moving forward here?
It's a key hero. They're really going to have to bank on PL managing to get farm, and Helm of the Dominator is completed, so BSJ is managing to find farm. Is only, second place in last hits to the Resolution Juggernaut, but unfortunately, he's fourth in net worth because of these tower kills. The top and bot towers have been taken on his team. Yeah. It looks like mid's next on the menu.
Might as well. Grouping up for DC. L5 going to be here. They have a great teamfight presence.
Ravage is up.
Is it? Okay, so yeah, I'm talking about teamfight presence on DC, but I guess Freedom also, they're pretty scary themselves. So yeah, you don't want to necessarily run into them. Granted, still level 4 Earthshaker. So no Shockwave, or Echo Slam, excuse me, going to be coming out just yet by any means, but and they are just going to fall back. Not worth the risk right here. So VSJ, we talked about him getting the Helm of the Dominator. You expect a pretty usual build on him as far as the agility carry goes, the Yasha, the Diffusal even.
It's difficult to say when you go for the Diffusal Blade as a PL now. Back in the day, you could get it extremely early on because you just toss out a Lance and no one can lane against you anymore. Even if VSJ wasn't this far behind, Hookshot connects in the mid lane. Eagle, rip.
I love the animation. He's like throwing his hands in the air, man. Waving them around like he just doesn't care right there. Yeah, that battery is solid. It's brutal against so many heroes. Leshrac, Earthshaker, the couple that mentioned. But yeah, so you mentioned the Diffusal Blade on VSJ Phantom Lancer here. So when do you think we'll see it?
I think he may have to go for Manta first, and so he's going to finish Treads first, which also another thing is a lot of PLs used to just hang on to Brown Boots for a while, and then if they get a good start, then they can get early BOTs, but that's not going to be the case this game. Yeah. I would imagine probably the Yasha first. If he chooses to finish out into a Manta, that'll depend on how the game goes, and then Diffusal will follow shortly after. And then if he does manage to still be a relevant force at that point in the game, then Freedom definitely has a chance.
Oh, the call just got Earthshaker. He's like, here's my new toy. It's a Blink Dagger. And here's our little bit of damage that we do because they don't actually kill Earthshaker. That's a little surprising. Earthshaker actually lives right there despite the call landing. He's going to pour it out, but the hook shot also whiffs. So DC, all of a sudden, a little bit of a dirt mode here, I guess you can call it. But they get the tower kill. And they'll be up 6-3. Here goes, and now he's going to open with a call. Yeah, Phantom Lancer had no clue. Just runs in casually with the invis, and this time the follow-up is there, I want to say. Doppelganger away, and he'll survive despite the battle hunger. Okay, Mekdai's in the background at least at bottom lane. Like
Omni Slash was used for that, yeah. I'm actually really surprised that we had backed off that Earthshaker kill because I thought the reason was that he didn't know where Tidehunter was, and he was like, I don't want to have to start a fight and then fight into a Ravage if I don't know. But Mike was farming the bot lane, as Resolution astutely found out. But in the end, they get the Tidehunter kill, but they didn't get PL or Earthshaker, and now PL going in on Saksa.
Yeah, he's going to try to chase him down. Saksa, though, on that Coddle, pretty damn fast. Remnant Nuke's coming in, not the most damage. Away with the one dunk on a Leshrac right there. And there's a Doppelganger used from PL, trying to chase, it seems like. Does he have another passive? Yeah, the Phantom Rush is ready to go, but he's just out of range, and going to be fine. Spear Lance, he avoids it with a nice Blink Dagger use. And that will be the only kill on the Leshrac. Meanwhile, Earth Spirit of all heroes is actually pushing out the top lane while that's all going on. But at least DC, again, they got the one kill on it. But yeah, Phantom Lancer, I mean, he's staying alive at least.
He is, but he's having to fight on the outskirts of the fight. As you can see, Wii is a big menace. It's a very obvious counter with Counter Helix being maxed out against a bunch of little teeny tiny illusions that don't really do that much damage at this stage of the game, or even probably for the next 15 to 20 minutes until PL gets a Diffusal Blade. So right now, even Wii doesn't feel concerned about having to go for something like a Vanguard at this stage, just chilling with the poor man's shield, and he's going to probably go for the Blade now next.
Thanks, Mike. Ravage is ready. Will he feel necessary to use it? Quick answer is no. Moon Meander. That's an easy kill. Obviously, Eagle, he gets close to the level 4 Diabolic Edict, has that Pulse Nova now, so plenty of damage coming out. And this time, Moon Meander, a little too out there with very little vision, actually, and, of course, no secondary, no first tower there even. So smart play by Team Freedom, rotating over, getting what seemed to be a free kill in the end. But top lane, yeah, this Earth Spirit, Mystery's just like, I'm playing a farming Earth Spirit, man. Here we go, top lane push.
Yeah, he's making space. This mid lane aggression is going to have to happen quick because now Resolution is joining Misery up top, and Coddle makes this a really hard tower push for Freedom.
Yeah, even with all 5 of them here, I mean, they're still having difficulty doing it despite only 2 defenders. Really, we in the background gets the call off on a Tidehunter. Not the prime target, though, and there's a Fissure nearby, so this middle tower, it is dropping. But again, they're delaying it a pretty long time. Considering you talked about that Illuminate spam definitely helping. They finally get it, but at what cost here? Hookshot in on Eagle in the background. Moomiander, did he go too deep, though? The answer is yes, as he will get turned on pretty quickly. So, yeah, the team support not necessary there. And now Coddle's blocked in by the Fissure. And he made a falling Soxa just out of range. Can Earth Spirit
They
do
need to
something?
kill
We
him.
can do something. They
Tier
can't kill
3's
the
getting
Ravage. It's
pushed.
going to miss. And yeah, as you're saying that, Tier 3 is being pushed to the top lane by Juggernaut. While this is all happening, he may end up going down. He's spinning like crazy with the counter helix. But the Berserker's call not going to be enough. Ember Spirit goes up with a Remnant, secures the kill. Another fail forward, and Coddle manages to live that whole time. Earth Spirit, though, can he manage to barrel roll away for the time being? Answers yes. Tomato, though, cuts right through him. But guess who's here, baby? It's Juggernaut. And, well, I guess he's just killing the Purge Creep and then pushing it out. But, yeah, as you're talking about, Resolution got all that damage on the Tier 3 tower top lane during all of that.
All that may be a bit generous, though. It's a difficult position as a carry to know whether you should go for a free Tier 3 damage like this or join the fight. And Resolution is really far ahead right now. He's nearly 2.9k net worth ahead of the next highest hero of Freedom, which is the Ember Spirit. That Omni Slash inside of a team fight is substantial, especially with Max Blade Fury itself. Meanwhile, Lumiander getting a kill on Eagle in the top lane. Tomato following.
Yeah, that battery assault, no doubt the winner there for him. We gets a kill on Ike Smack at the bottom lane, it looks like, and Mumiander is going to walk it off despite Ember Spirit trying to chase him down even. So good getaway on his part. And yeah, nice pick onto Tidehunter as well as mentioned. And this Juggernaut, man, a full Manta style, has the Helmet of the Dominator, the Alpha Wolf nearby. And okay, he doesn't have anything else just yet, but yeah, even that alone is pretty damn good, of course.
Anything else?
Yeah,
wow,
so
you're really expecting quite a bit
I was
here.
expecting a Butterfly by now, okay? Come on.
Casual
It's too much of a
Moonshard, no
stretch.
big deal.
No, he's doing just fine. Phantom Lancer, he has to have something. Okay, yeah, he's getting a couple of Blade of Alacrities here. So he's going first item Diffusal Blade right after the Helm of the Dominator, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he got a big boost from that fight just now mid lane because, you know, not only did he not die, but he was able to participate in quite a few kills. And so, like I said, the pace of PL's item progression really depends on how these early fights go. So they might get a kill on Soxa here.
Yeah, he's getting a little greedy, is fair to say. Kind of pushing out this bottom lane all the way up here. They're chasing for a while. He has a TP, but not going to be an easy use. And yeah, he'll just accept death anyways. As they took a little bit of while to kill him, but they do manage to do so. A nice chase there.
Top lane, Clockwork, triple Remnant, dead.
Yeah, he is. Omni Slash. No. Okay.
Wouldn't really matter. Omni Slash
Yeah.
no longer mini stuns anymore, so you would get maybe 3 or 4 slashes, which I know Resolution is
Yeah.
absurdly far ahead, but even that may be a bit generous to expect him to get the kill. But Roche, that's a very easy proposition.
That's a lot easier, as you pointed out. Earth Spirit, barrel roll away. He's going to kind of play a distraction here of sorts, and he'll port back as they
Freedom's ready,
chase him.
though. Ravage is up. I don't know if they know their Resolution's in the pit, though.
They're pinging. Earthshaker's running in, and on the Omni Slash onto Earthshaker. He's like, hello. He goes down, but now Resolution, he is in trouble. He does not have the most team support nearby. Ravage not going to be used just yet, as he'll spin away. So they are going to prevent the Roshan at least. Earthshaker will be back up in 15 seconds, so he's doesn't have a TP, but at least he'll be alive here pretty shortly. Minus on Clockwork as well as Earth Spirit, by the way, so greed all around here on DC's side.
They have insurance in case this peel gets large, because Clockwork, while Battery Assault is absurdly irritating right now in this stage of the game, until level 25, it's not really going to be another factor in this like 30 to 50 minute span, but
Yeah.
we'll see how these heroes transition. Misery also has been farming his pants off, as we saw in the top lane, so he hasn't really gotten any items so far, and I don't really know if Veil is necessary this game, but I'm sure he'll make himself useful.
Yeah, maybe a blink to get even more
Yeah.
initiation.
Yeah.
With that axe, perhaps. Speaking of axe, he's in the middle lane. Ember Spirit coming back with a Remnants, though. And there's a Doppelganger away, as we will also be fine. However, trying to make a jump happen. Fine for the time being. Torrent, though, comes out. Ravage again, still ready to go. Puts that Berserker Skull up. Look at all the evasions coming out, as well as the armor buff, but it's not enough in the long run. He didn't really have the team support nearby enough to keep him alive. And they eventually chase him down. So that's a solid kill coming out for Freedom. Again, delaying Roshan, if anything, but bottom tower goes down while that's all happening. So DC, it's almost like they're fine if giving up a hero or two. They're just going to keep split pushing with this Juggernaut.
DC would like to 5-man at this stage because they're so far ahead with their core, and then having a Coddle in the back makes life so much easier for pushes. But the way that TF's heroes work is just that even with an advantage, one good initiation by the Tidehunter or the Earthshaker or the Ember Spirit or the Leshrac means that you can't really take a fight no matter how far ahead you are, because you're just going to be stunned for the entire time.
Top lane, there's the call. Earth Spirit. Slam dunk. Yeah, he couldn't do it in time. Not low enough, so Tomato actually will get away. They're hoping maybe for a couple more spins, but hey, Roshan goes down. Resolution picks up that Aegis. And he also has now Maelstrom to work with the Mantis Style on the helmet to dominate this Alpha Wolf. I mean, look at how much damage he's doing, and then you throw Maelstrom procs on top of that, the attack speed. This is a very farmed juggernaut yet again, just to reiterate. 13,000 net worth. The next closest is Ember Spirit with 9,600. Granted, the next three are in favor of Team Freedom, so they do have plenty of positive. This Tidehunter is actually getting some pretty good farm, now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, IX Mike has had this 4-stuff completed for quite a while. Would have liked to use it in a Roche fight. Might use it now. Split Earth does not connect, and this tower might go down. Last tier 2 gone for Team Freedom.
Jeez. 22 minutes in, tier 2's all dead, and guess what? That means shrines are available to be killed, and DC will go right over to it, but Freedom doesn't want to just give this up, feels like, but they're going to have to. They think better of it. They're still farming a blink on Tide. You got to figure that's going to be a key item. Earthshaker, I don't know if he's going to be having a blink anytime soon. He's had a real struggle this game to get any kind of consistent farm. He just barely got his arcane boots here, so can't really
Jube is the 5 through and through. Eagles managed to complete a Yules on this Leshrac, so I can understand giving a bit of the farm priority to Leshrac early on, as Yules will help with initiation, and really Earthshaker is more this game to just disengage rather than engage, so right now, Team Freedom is pretty content with their initiation, especially because now they've gone for a Blink Dagger on this PL, which is not one item that I was expecting, especially because BSJ is having to stay really far back in these fights. He can't go in on Axe, otherwise he's just going to get spun to death, so
yeah.
This is tricky.
Yeah, no, I was about to bring that up, so I'm glad you did. Yeah, Blink Dagger on the Phantom Lancer. We'll see how he makes use of it right here. Maybe to get away, Spirit Lance, and there we go. The quick Blink Dagger use. Now they are absolutely certain he has it, though. Boulder Smash going to miss. Might as well try, though. Clear some trees in the process, but clearly DC, they're the ones that want to take this fight, and Team Freedom's like, nope, we're fine. We'll just run from you guys. We'll play that way, so they're going to play the evasive maneuver game, and spiking that blink on Phantom, and again, they still want the blink on Tidehunter. He's kind of the key, I feel like. In terms of, God, they also got one on Ember Spirit. Yeah, this is a very mobile team. I mean, potentially they could have 5 Blink Daggers if they really wanted to. You know, even Leshrac and, of course, Earthshaker could get them. But,
Yo, I could totally get into a Leshrac Blink Dagger.
Dude, except the Splitters. Well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
He probably is not going to get it, but 4 out of the 5, okay? Still quite a bit.
Even with all this team fight, I don't think we've seen a single Ravage yet, and IX Mike almost has his level 3 Ravage top lane. Moving under, going in.
Ember
Tomato.
Spirit. Oh, just enough lockdown. Oh, an Orchid, that's why. Yeah, I was like wondering, thought he had time there to maybe even get away, but that makes a lot more sense. He was silenced, and that's because of that Orchid.
Yeah, and then perfectly staggered into the taunt, and now, Coddle also has his Agonist Scepter completed along with a gem, which means that this really high mobility team that TF has might find their match as bot lane IX Mike.
He's got that mecha at least. There's that 4 staff. So, again, he mentioned he hasn't really used like a big Ravage. I know he's used it maybe once or twice, but we haven't seen that huge Ravage come out. He is going to be able to Blink Dagger just in time and manage to remain alive. So there's that beefy presence of Tidehunter. Kind of kicking in right there. And DC will insist on cleaning out the jungle instead. So,
Hook on top, and the silence, no self-purge available. He's gonna pop probably.
And Ember's turning, look at that. Mana goes down after that, and there's a pause to flame Clockwork, I'm sure. Talk about Eba.
The Orchid pickup is really good because TF has gone for all of this mobility. They don't really have defensive items like a Lotus or a Lincoln's on anyone, and even IX Mike on this Tidehunter hasn't really gone for Greaves yet. He has it queued up, but has opted to complete the Force Staff and the Blink Dagger first. So Orchids is a really big issue for Ember Spirit and PL this game. And if there was one more hero for that hookshot follow-up, BSJ would have been dead for sure, and Blink Dagger would not have helped this Phantom Lancer escape that gank.
Yeah, that's, as you're pointing out, proven to be actually a worthwhile pickup here for BSJ. But are they going to have enough offensive tools is kind of, I think, the question that we continue to go back to. You know, especially with this build on Phantom Lancer, the Fusel Assuries, he can do some okay damage. Ember Spirit as well, but will they have enough to take out DC if we get involved in a big team fight? I'm sure Earthshaker with the Blink Dagger will be a part of that too, but again, that's a ways off. He's barely hitting level 10 here. You know, he has it queued up. He only has 400 gold saved up, and he's not really getting much farm in the first place. So DC will kind of retreat from here, and he's got the BKB queued up as well, so that'll be a nice mitigation, nice tool to move around. You mentioned Coddle with that Ags and the Gem picked up, making the vision of Team Freedom pretty lackluster. In fact, speaking of their vision, yeah, they don't have much to work with. They're very defensive already at this point in the game. So DC, what do you think DC is kind of waiting for in terms of being able to actually siege here? Is it obviously another, well, I mean, they have the Aegis, but
yeah, they keep hitting these windows, and then they can't really do anything with it. Like, all these items that you mentioned are really great ways to help siege. Aegis is now reclaimed, but the thing is that they can't get a pick. If that Clockwork had managed to get a kill on the PL, then they would have definitely followed up afterwards. But if all 5 heroes of Team Freedom are up, it's difficult to get a fight. So maybe Resolution can get this kill on IX Mike near the Ancients.
There we go. There's the Omni Slash. And I like what he did right there. Instead of opening with something like an Omni Slash, he waited till he ran away from the Ancients, kind of scared him off, and then he's like, now's my chance. Then he pops the Omni Slash with nobody nearby, and it ends up being an easy kill, really. In the end, the hook shot just missing on Phantom Lancer, meanwhile, at the top lane. Yeah, that would have been an absolutely huge pickoff on top of it, but they can't secure that one. But hey, Tidehunter kill. That's just fine.
Tidehunter kill, and I'm surprised that Resolution is migrating to a different lane. I would have figured that after doing all that tier 3 damage earlier on, just a few Blade Fury sieges could maybe get it down to a dangerous enough HP that you could just take it. But instead, DC choose to back off even after getting that Tidehunter kill, which Tidehunter didn't use Ravage, and he still has buyback, so he's still a threat. It's kind of dangerous to push up into that, but right now, I mean, Earthshaker still doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so long-range initiation from TF takes a big commitment if they want to push a fight.
You know that big Ravage is coming, but it's just a matter of time. But yeah, to his
he's
credit,
edging. He's edging towards it.
Of course. But yeah, to DC's credit, I mean they're not giving him much of a chance, to be fair. So it's kind of that awful mix. But you know, once they inevitably start sieging the base, that's where they're going to be forced to kind of be enclosed a little bit more, and that's why I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised to see a big Ravage coming out of IX Mike here. But we're now still waiting for it, and they're going to smoke up head towards the bottom lane. Maybe this could be of sorts. Maybe a chance to use it down here.
It's nighttime, so this is as good of a time as any.
Jump, jump, jump. Jump, baby, jump, baby, jump. There we go. The Ravage going out. The pushback with the Blinding Light from Coddle trying to save Resolution out. Boulder Smash goes through, hits a couple, and the Magnetize going to be applied on multiple heroes as well. Doppelganger away, Spirit Lance forward. Misery will be fine, though, some way, somehow. Nobody dying throughout this just yet. Misery, though, he's going to be the first casualty as he does go down. Searing Chains locking down Axe off to the side. Vela Discord on him. He's kind of charging in, Force Staff away. Split Earth going to miss right there with the Yule Scepter use. And Wee's just going to walk it off, and guess who's back? Resolution is back in the fight. They pick off the Leshrac, and they're also going to take out Earthshaker in the background. BSJ and Mike are trying to chase still. They did get the kill on an Axe, it looks like, but so kind of a split fight at the end there. And I guess it really ends up being a 2-for-2 there.
Poor Leshrac was just basically getting perpetually mana leaked by the Coddle. I kept looking at him and I was like, is Eagle disconnected or something? Why is he just like standing there? And then he would start taking a little bit of damage and just kind of inch away, and I would see all this blue just start flowing out of him. And I'm like, no, I see. This is why there's not very much damage coming out of TF, because even though it is a support Leshrac, like I said earlier on, it transitions into a damage dealer very easily. And even with just a Yule's, Diabolic Edict once maxed is a ton of damage if you can just isolate one target, like that Juggernaut who was isolated when the fight started. Now, Earth Spirit top lane might be dead.
Yeah, Misery, he'll take the Alpha Wolf with him at least, but Use the hand of Midas on it. But yeah, that's again a case of he's been doing that a couple times this game, pushing up that top lane by himself. This time it cost him his life, but Juggernaut's here now, and with a full Mjolnir finish on top of the Scotty, and going to now push out the top lane and with the rest of the team.
This guy is so goddamn farmed. He hasn't died a single time yet. He is 7k net worth ahead of TF's first farming hero.
Yeah. 6-0-1. You mentioned, 21,000 net worth individually for him. Obviously, really a big reason why they're about a 12,000 net worth lead, and experience a little less, but still around that 4,000 mark in favor of Digital Chaos. Again, this game 2, guys, they're trying to finish off the series here 2-0. They are up 1-0. Trying to win and keep hope alive for that #1 seed, and thus a spot to the LAN finals that are going to be in Shanghai, China, for the Starlighter I-League Star Series main event. But they kill Roshan in the meantime, and that could set up what finally could be a siege attempt here from DC. Again, they've been hesitant to do it so far, but now may be the time with the new Aegis.
You'll definitely wait at least another 50 seconds for daytime, but then after that, I would really hope, I can't imagine that Resolution wants to complete another item, but this is, okay, now, okay, sure, yeah, just go for it. Is he gonna actually, okay, fine.
Yeah, nobody's here. Sneaks right in, he's like, all right, nobody's here, I'll take the tower.
That's Chekhov's tier 3 push, the one we saw in the first 15 minutes, ultimately. Gets them the easiest tier 3 I've ever seen.
Yeah. And now they're going to go further into the racks, as you mentioned, daytime just about here, about 20 seconds. But yeah, Resolution, he's not concerned. Got the Aegis, he's got that spin, and they cannot stop him. They literally have no way to stop him when he's spinning like that. So they'll freely do it. Has another spin coming up in 7 seconds. They're probably going to look to take on the melee racks. We'll see what kind of response Freedom has for that. And there's daytime, by the way, starting to kick in now.
BSJ purges off the static shield, but like Resolution's not even sticking around. He's just doing this Blade Fury hit and run tactic. Now initiation by Wii.
Yeah, they catch the splitter. There's a Ravage on 3 heroes in the background. The Torrent follow up. The quick kill on Leshrac, though. Earth Spirit died quickly, but he buys back immediately. Resolution, he's still full, good to go. Omni Slash ready. Will he get it off in time here? Ike's Mike gonna be locked down with the Axe Berserker's Call, trapped in the cogs. No way for him to get out. And he falls. Look at Resolution diving into the base. He pops the Omni Slash. All the illusions nearby. Was hoping to get Earthshaker. He did not, though. And now Resolution maybe somewhat regretting this. Oh, the Echo Slam hit right as he started spinning, unfortunately. AKA didn't really hit at all. And now he's just going to finish off the melee racks. He probably just wants to die at this point. He's got the Aegis again. And he might even kill BSJ before he dies. He does. And he goes down right after. But the Aegis bringing it back up. And I think Team Freedom, they're on their last leg here. No buyback on Phantom Lancer and Tidehunter.
Yeah, Misery had bought back immediately after that fight, or after he had died in the beginning of the fight, and then instantly got recalled by Soxa. Came back, and while Resolution was doing work in the middle of the Dire base, Ember Spirit was trying to create the other 3 heroes busy, as another dunk on Eagle takes place.
Yeah, I got 4 staffed out, and thus put in a bad spot, killed, and again, DC, it looks like they're going to keep hope alive, and pretty much make it come down to tomorrow's match, which honestly, as a spectator, obviously you kind of appreciate that. It makes it, okay, now we got our final match coming up. The stakes are high, exactly, between DC and NP. Now, again, the match will be Complexity versus NP, but if Complexity manages a 2-0, then DC will be advancing on to the main event. But obviously NP, they control their own destiny in that series. And again, that's going to take place tomorrow. But GGs are being called. It's official. DC will take care of business and win the series 2-0. So, yeah, game 2, a little more decisive. But, man, it's the Resolution show all throughout today. Lone Druid into this hell of a Juggernaut game.
Hell of a Juggernaut. Resolution's the kind of carry that every pub player dreams of, where you just give them like a good 15 minutes and then they'll just run away with the rest of the game. And ran away with it in, I guess, very quick fashion as opposed to this game 1 that you mentioned.
Yeah, the game 1 a little different. Freedom, again, they actually had a lot of hope in that game, and that could have really been something. But in the end, DC does it, and then they take game 2 a little more decisively. But feeling good about that one, I'm sure. And now they got to wait till tomorrow. Again, they're going to be Complexity fanboys come tomorrow, as we're saying, when it comes to the matchup of Complexity versus Team NP there. That's going to do it for that match, though. Our next match is going to be coming up, and actually should line up pretty well right here. In fact, starting in the very near future, We got Team Onyx versus Dowcom. Again, that match not necessarily a whole lot on the line, but it should be still fun nonetheless, and should be some good Dota 2 action to come. And I'm being told there actually still might even be another match after that, despite the graphics suggesting that we're going to be done after that. So I'll let you know when I get 100% confirmation, but there's a chance Doo-Wop versus Freedom also could be happening later on. I'll let you know once I get for certain that information. But at the very least, we got Onyx versus Dowcom. That should be coming up pretty shortly here, guys. So sit tight. Game number 1 of that series is going to be coming up. Once again, I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Tsunami here as my co-caster. And you're tuning into the Star Ladder I-League Star Series American Qualifiers. We got Game 1 of our next series coming up next, guys. Stay tuned.